It's a couple of years, but he's still small.
So we're just taking a quick moment, Johanna. Can you hear us?
I can now, sorry.
And our background is blurred because I normally do this at my house, so sorry if it looks
I
totally.
see you can swallow in a water bottle. We're good.
Love those moments.
Okay, we're floating. Occasionally we'll see somebody else.
Paper tickets. Oh. I've had some cool opportunities like that in the industry. Okay.
Oh,
No,
we're
we're still waiting.
We're gonna wait for them.
Oh, sure.
So these are the pictures I get during board meetings. My dog sitter sends.
Oh.
Oh,
that your
that
cat
is
too?
cute.
No, it's not my cat.
Is that your dog?
Yeah, it's my
Oh
dog. It's not my cat.
What kind of dog is that?
He's a English golden doodle,
How old is he now?
2.
I remember you got him as a pup, right?
He's yes, we're into the teen years right
Okay.
now.
Yes.
No, anyway, I just laughed
Dog.
because I get these like, oh, is it like a family member? Oh, no, it's just a picture.
That's really cute.
How big is he? How much he weigh?
He was supposed to be a mini that weighed 25 pounds. He is now at 55.
Okay.
Not
yeah,
quite a
what's the
mini.
deal? Well, you got a bargain price then, I guess.
Price per pound, you're in good shape.
No kidding. I didn't want, yeah. He's a chunk.
My mom had that.
That's really nice. My parents say about me too.
Grow up.
Too funny. Too funny,
Really?
too funny.
Grow up.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you get it?
Is he already, are they already posted?
Oh, yeah. We're gaslighting them.
Wow.
That's a major misunderstanding.
All right,
It is very much so. So
okay,
not a lot of,
Wow.
okay,
that'll be all over the place. Everyone's gonna do that.
so we're recording.
Okay.
Yep.
So we are in item L1, which is executive session. So it is 8:34 PM. Today is Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. All individuals present, so we have Johanna on Zoom, we have Gail, Consuelo, Lisa, Chris, Vanessa, all board members, and then Dr. Bird. So just for the record, the proper motion, second, and vote took place to enter into executive session pursuant to CRS 24-6-4024F for the purposes of the board superintendent personnel check-in, which is part of the superintendent's annual evaluation process. Reminders, discussion during executive session cannot stray from the matter stated at the onset of the session. No decision should be made during the session. If decisions do need to be made, this must occur in public. And if direction needs to be provided to staff, this can occur after the board resumes in the public session. So those are my reminders. And so this is originally scheduled for half an hour. Tony and I thought earlier, because I did get this to him very late last night, it'll probably be more like 45 minutes, but being that we went over, we'll see where we get. So just kind of some framing. This is really a transitional strategic conversation. So we know we've got board members going off, we've got a new team coming on. So this is a personal check-in with Tony. And it's kind of a little bit of reflection and a little bit of what we need to do to set up our next success. So kind of the way that, and I'll just lay it out in this mini agenda. We'll have Tony reflect first, some thoughts that were on there, like what went well this year, what the next board needs to understand early. So like immediate pressures, decisions, things, vulnerabilities, things that we did that were supportive, maybe an area of personal learning or growth that the next board should expect in superintendent needs or board needs. And then it'll be followed by our reflections, just kind of a round robin. Again, we're kind of limited on time, but thinking about strengths of the superintendent that you hope all would be continued into the future. Or that we all hope a practice behavior system that we hope remains stable So this is all forward-looking or piece of advice or caution. So Tony looking backwards and forwards, us kind of looking backwards, and then as a final group, we'll just look at forward conversations. So what do we think is important for maintaining stability as a new board starts? What habits do we find that we should continue or not continue? Are there areas where the new board may misunderstand that we just want to name now, since we're dealing with this as a personnel, employer team? And any risks that we need to look at in terms of a governing team. So, while this is a check-in, it's multi-directional, employer, employee, check-in, and just looking backwards and forwards. So that's the framing. And I'll say thank you all to you and Johanna, for being amazing board members. And, I know that we'll thank you to our continuing board members, for we're some of the stabilization of the new team.
Mhm.
So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Tony,
Yeah,
to kind of do some reflecting.
oh, I could reflect for hours, but just to make sure, because I have a bunch of notes. Well, maybe because we're all running 100 directions.
Yep.
Well, in terms of board relationship, me with you.
Yeah, I think it could be anything. So like in our partnerships, leadership, I would say based, because it's kind of a strategic team
Yeah,
thing, it might be what works well
Yeah.
now
yeah,
and what we can bring
Yeah,
into the future.
yeah. Okay, so I can get it started, but hopefully it'll just be a conversation. So from my vantage point, I've said this in public too. I think it's really great that you're trying to stay in the strategic policy space. There's a flip side to that, which I think we have to get, myself included, much simpler in the way people understand that. The language, I think, by 8:30 at night with the language, people are like, because you all, I speak ELMR, community doesn't really. And it takes so much intentional focus here. I even understand it when you're in it. So I think that would be something that I think policy governance can go. I have seen it actually just disappear because people don't modify. And then new people come in like, that was nuts, that was terrible. And so I think there's an evolution that has to happen. So I think, but for me as a superintendent, and I really believe that it will be hard pressed to find a superintendent that wants to have the board, like I said out there, in the weeds of everything. Because then all of a sudden it's like, what are you here for as a superintendent, right? You've hired me to do the how. You all describe the what and the why, right? We go after the how. So when I've seen superintendents really get frustrated and leave, and there's a lot of them, or stay but just go through hell, is when they're like, oh God, I got 2 board members that are just driving me bananas. That's what you hear when we get into confidential space. Oh, what are they driving bananas about? Well, one just wants a new high school football field. One spends all, his or her time trying to get politically liked, or whatever it might be. So, I mean, I don't want to take too much space, but I think that's going really well. And I appreciate it. And I think H series is just really pressed. I feel like there's something we got to talk through, which is, you all being, really open to community input and talking with people and agreeing on, so when are we not, And I think we kind of have that. It feels like we do when it comes to negotiations. I don't doubt that, but somehow it's still I think it's going to be ceaseless with Joe. I think he is going to get more relentless.
His time.
What's that?
He has time. He has time.
Yes, he has time.
That he's not filling with hobbies. He's filling it with this. I mean,
He's living with this.
and is getting paid for that. So yeah.
And I just think that's a good, important conversation. I would say in terms of immediate learning, I think it's going to be super important. You and I, Consuelo, have talked about, just as always, getting the new board members settled in from Maslow's hierarchy to the role. I think it's, without saying too much, more important now than it's ever been since I've been here. I'll stop there. I have a lot more, like, but maybe we can all just, I mean, maybe agree, don't agree, I don't know. That's just my thought
I think
from
it's
this
gonna be
seat.
really important for roles and responsibilities to be clear on, for our new board members, like what the board is and what the superintendent is. And what each of us does in support of student-centered decisions and outcomes.
I don't think it's gonna be that hard for Kim and Whitney at all. I think Jennifer has the potential to weaponize PG against us. And totally blow through all of the boundaries and say that she's the hero who's listening, the folk hero, who's listening to the staff and bringing their concerns forward. And I think that that's absolutely a risk and a possibility. And how would we deal with that? Because she, I mean, let's be clear. She has First Amendment rights and she could do that. I mean, it would take a lot to censure somebody. You know, but I could absolutely be set up that way and
And I think her job role is,
brings it into the school and starts blurring the line.
yeah, so it's hard to make those defined. There's a lot of gray with respect to her work.
And Whitney works in the same place.
True, but she,
She told me today she's worried about that.
is she,
Oh,
with respect to like
They're
new
coworkers.
parents?
because maybe she's seen that already.
Well, and I work.
I know what you
in-
mean.
Jennifer, she is the CMP lead, the community management program, I think. So she's a caseworker. Works with a lot of families who have who may need more than one service in our community to help that family be healthy. And so she's very active in that social services role.
And I think that sometimes it seems like because we stay out of the operational, we don't care. And that's something that we gotta work through. Like,
Yeah.
how do we make it clear that we absolutely do care, but that we're actually not even equipped to solve your problem? Like, we're just not, I don't have the power. They think I have the power, but I don't have the power or the tools to solve your problem, and that there's actually a way to do it. But then what, like the email you sent us, like the guy who is just thinks it's solving his problem now is punching you in the face. I mean, like, nobody can solve his problem, except maybe a restraining order, but not really. I mean, so there are two things there. Like, the person who gets to the end and they just keep not getting the answer they want. I think our union right now is the example of that. And ESPs, they're the example of that too. They didn't get everything that they wanted and they're pouting, honestly. And so they think they keep going higher to the school board and they'll get what they want, but that's really not. How do we make it clear to people that's really not how this works? There's sometimes when the answer is just, that's actually not good for the community, our students, even our staff and teachers, that's not necessarily good for it, because we have a fundamental disagreement with Joe. He's getting more on board with finance, but he is not on board with who our constituency is.
Yeah.
He has told me as a board member that he does not agree with me that my only constituency is really teachers and staff. But I'm like, but what about the community and parents and guardians and students?
Taxpayers.
Yeah.
Well, that's the community in my
True,
mind.
True.
Yeah.
Like, they're my constituency. And he's like, he said it 2 weeks ago. I really fundamentally disagree with you on
He
that.
doesn't think the community or your
No, He
constituents.
does not.
So there's
He
some,
said that to you guys? He said that to me.
No.
Oh, we've absolutely had two
Well,
conversations
he
about that.
implements a lot of systems, so like, he's modeling not in a very good way for our students, like, learn the system. And then change the system as needed if if it's wrong, if it's not acting in a good way and our system is built for centering students in our decision making and for positive student outcomes, right? And yes, teachers play a role, other staff members play a role. So
But that's a threat. in terms
Yeah.
of how he views
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So a
So-
couple
He-
thoughts.
We've got Johanna too. So Johanna, go for it.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, taking in everything that you guys are saying, I think to talk about like what Joe, Jennifer, like really anybody new, I think if there's any way, and not that it's more work, but it's just very intentional. How do we make sure that kind of like when we make a decision or when the board makes a decision or Tony, when you do it, do you bring it back to, and this is how it relates to our milestones on academic and personal success? Like bringing it back to child-centered focus so that whatever we're doing, it is a clear reflection of, so this was the goal that we were working towards, or this is what we were doing, and this is how we're getting there. And just constantly bringing it back to that academic and personal success, and not even saying like our end statement, because I think that's still a learning piece for new board members. But I don't know any person in our community who is not like, well, I want academic success, or I want personal success, or I see it as a big picture, but there's something about we want success for our kids. And so really in this beginning stages of really bringing it back to this decision was made and this is how it's going to affect this, or this decision was made and this is how it helped us meet this milestone, or and then those continuous spotlights, I think it makes people feel like they're part of the team, they're part of something bigger. It feels good. You see things in action, you see students coming in about those spotlights. It's really hard to then argue how bad everything is when you're seeing students in a chair being spotlighted for the work they're actually doing. I know that's not the end all be all, but I think it's a different frame of mind of the decisions we're making are towards all, and I agree with you, Vanessa, our number one constituents are the students. Hands down, all the other things are tools to help our students get where they want. But academic and personal success is what we have established as the board. That's what we want for our students. And so the more we bring it back to that constantly, that's just where my thought goes.
And I would say kind of with that is elevating the asset base, because I think that is something that we could be looking at is the narrative of deficit. And I know, I mean, even out there, when we talk about challenges, we do kind of go into we get
I
into
know.
deficit
Mhm.
mindset, and deficit mindset, scarcity, fear, and I think the more that we, with what you're saying, Johanna, is bringing it back to success and student-centered, the more that we can bring it back to asset-based, because I know that I'm 95% positive we're gonna hear that from Jennifer. We are failing our kids, we are failing our kids, we are failing our Latino students, we're not doing things fast enough, and I think that we can all say, yeah, we're not doing things fast enough, and we're also working within a system that is slower. We can't just, change ideas every year because it's not working, because then we wouldn't have given anything a chance to
Take root.
stick, yeah. But I think that maintaining that asset mindset and is in abundance will be helpful. So I think as a group, the more that we can model that, from instead of looking at a place of fear, that we can look at a place of I don't remember who said it earlier, joy, optimism. So even when we're feeling like, oh man, this is pretty bad.
I was
the more
reading
we
really
can put on
negative
that
and I
game
said
face,
Ah,
but no, we can put on the game face, and
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
model it. I
Well,
think maybe that will help.
Yeah, when I typed an email, I do my Friday emails and I was writing out all the things that we're having, I was like, oh my God. I have felt like the H series is the only thing in all the
Ugh,
world's going to hell.
right, yeah.
And look at all this great stuff. And I
Mhm.
wasn't trying to pitch
Mhm.
like something to you. It was just like, wow.
And screw it, the H series is positive.
It is.
It is.
But I mean, in
I
terms
just-
of the
I
switch,
just-
it is.
Alberto's here, and I was like, good night, Alberto, thanks for
Thank
listening to us. I'm like, what? I should be congratulating him, like, why do I feel bad right now?
I know.
No,
you
you
feel
should
bad.
feel good. I would just offer real quick on the what's going well, and to keep it going. Thank you. You just did something great. You are enabling the sports staff to unionize, and we will support them to get those documents done and so on. And they will know better what they're getting involved in. And so, and I will just tell you, I can't, like, just people have come to me I don't ask, but in confidence, they've come to me and said, just want you to know I don't really agree with this approach that's being taken. And, or I don't really know what this, I was getting into, you know, and
Oh.
so.
Or the
Yeah,
unionizer
I've
was
heard that.
cute, so yeah, I signed the card.
You
Well,
heard
and I
that or
heard-
something? Oh my goodness. Okay, so, all right, so, but just.
That's why we hired you to.
So the Renee, you guys.
Tony's
don't-
gonna outbeat Renee.
You know, my
Was that
goodness.
just harassment? I'm
Oh.
sorry, Tony.
Oh, no. You know, Brene Brown, you know her stuff.
Yes.
I started reading her book on purpose because I was like, oh my God, I'm getting so lost, and I'll offer a couple classes. Huh?
She's very positive.
Well, and she's saying.
Shame
like,
Buster. She's incredible.
Yeah, and so as then you all know, you know, refocus on, shine the light on what's going well and
Yeah,
moving
right,
that and
right,
step into that brave space, you know? And I really feel like, I don't know, proud sounds weird because that's maybe patronizing. So like, I feel proud of all of us that you did something here that not, I don't even want to say held the line, like was right for the support staff and fundamentally right for the organization. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I think right for the organization over the long haul. As you said tonight, Consuelo, you know, why don't we know what happened? We have no documentation of the past, right? Now you've
Such a
got.
good point. It's like,
Yeah, we have no idea.
People are like, I don't know, what
they
did they
thought
do?
that organizing was just coming to us and saying, you have 2 weeks to pass a resolution. Like, that's not a great place to put people in.
Right.
No.
And then you're disappointed because that didn't work out. That's not a great place to put people.
No win, because it was always another hurdle, right?
Yeah.
It was always another.
Two quick points, and I'll be quiet for a bit. A very, very well-respected, amazing teacher who I cannot name said, I feel like you do, Tony, about what's happening here. And she's not alone. And then I had another really well-respected person say, hey, just remember that actually many of us just want the sports staff to have a union. We don't really care how. And by the way, we're teaching kids every day. We don't have time to be like super wrapped up in this. Like, we see this debate, but we're like all in. And so, you know, I had lunch at Snowy Peaks today. That staff was great. Mood was great. You know, like, so what we see is true for some, you know? So I guess in terms of your question about what went well, I feel like you all just modeled the graduate profile, honestly. Like, we want you to be prepared. We're gonna be courageous about this. We're gonna be curious. You looked in to try to learn, and we were all in a rush. That was a rush.
And then 4 meetings.
4 meetings. Yeah, I think in terms of
I
what
had the first one.
I
September 18th. Oh, right, there was a special.
well, I think a weakness of mine, or I think I'm trying to balance. I don't always know. In this job, you don't always know, like, should I say something right now? Or should I not say something?
Well, and I
So-
guess maybe that
Well-
was something that I wanted to bring up, Tony. I love your courage in speaking your truth and being honest. And I love that you have always said, I'm going to support marginalized communities, because that is the majority of our schools and our kids in here, like a bunch of different marginalized communities, makes up a much bigger whole. The one thing I was going to say is I want to make sure that we're thinking through just in our responses as board members, you, Tony, any of those things, because I feel like sometimes people are looking now to find something that you say. And I'm
Oh, yeah.
wondering if there's a way to just go, is it going to build clarity? Is it going to help with like a little bit more understanding and learning? Is it moving the conversation forward? Or is it intentionally building a relationship? And if it's not right now, I almost want to say, like, don't give ammunition, because I feel like there are people out there truly who are like, let me find not the core value of what you're saying, not to be behind you in the fight that you're fighting, but to find like the one sentence that's there. And so I don't know if that's an answer, because I am so proud to have worked alongside you, and I think that you are fighting that fight in a very courageous way that many people don't want to step up and do. I just don't want the fight being lost because somebody's looking for the sentence that they can hold against you.
You want a little inside baseball? It's kind of funny, actually. Ellen stops by my office after she saw the first two emails. She's like, "Hey, Tony, can we talk a little bit?"
You're good.
I'm like, "What's going on?" Ellen said, I think maybe no more emails. Like, I think,
That's a good, that's
Yeah.
a good employee.
yeah, and I said,
Good job, Ellen.
I said to Ellen, like,
I mean,
"Oh, whatever, I'm writing more," but then
I mean it because she's being brave. I think that's
Totally,
amazing.
and she knows I'll listen, because I also went home and talked to Cherry. She's like, "What are you doing? You need to calm down." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna win." And so, I would say I agree with you, Johanna. If I could go back in time, there's still one email I would have sent, but I wouldn't do five, and I don't think. I don't think, like, I was learning pretty quickly. I'm creating as much ruckus as I am, and so I don't know if you've noticed, but that was like a week of just ping. And I've even joked with staff. I'm like, "Did you happen to get an email from me?"
It's like superintendent sponsored by Red Bull.
Oh, it was. I was ready to rumble, man. I'll email you. And then someone said, "You got spelling errors," and I'm like, "Oh my God, I must have really been mad," because I hate spelling errors.
Anybody edit? I mean,
I
I'm saying
do.
this is like edit your emails.
I do.
Someone you
Well-
trust who will say to you, "Don't write that."
Well, they try, but I'm like, Kirsten will come in and go, "You don't want to send that."
I mean, I guess-
Okay.
I guess if you're like needing, if you're gonna err on the side of being totally safe, then that's unimaginative leadership, and that's not gonna get us anywhere. I mean, Johanna brings up a great point, but
Of
if it's
course.
not gonna get us anywhere, and then silence is saying something. When you don't meet people at their bullshit and
That's
call them out on it, there are people listening who are like, silence just means you
Yeah.
agreed with that. I'm not saying that's always the case. Johanna brings up a good point. That's a good point. Like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of right answers
Yeah.
to this one.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
I don't think, honestly, if I could I just want you to know, if I could rewind time, there's one email I would send, but the other ones, no. And the stress, and I tried to share with you all a little bit how a little vulnerability. I'm like, I gotta go on this retreat. I'm feeling a lot of stress right now. That's the most stress I've felt since I got here. And it wasn't just that. It's just a combination of ice and
Yeah.
deaths and
Oh
expulsions.
my gosh, it's student injuries.
Injuries and
Students
all
dying,
of it.
teachers dying.
And then I don't, to be honest, have that much patience for victimization. And so I was so
Can I just say one
hindsight
thing though?
2020, I would do it a little
I
different.
think somebody learned something about not replying all.
Who's that? Who was that?
Uh,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And then she came to find me.
I
don't
saw
think
the
everyone's
reply
awesome.
all and I was like, oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah. So note to self and note to my boss.
Not your fault.
I have learned a little bit right there. And so Johanna, I take your point, and I think just know that I'll keep working on it. And I really do appreciate feedback. So if you're like, "Hey man, you might not want to do that," right? Like, Chris and I kind of blew a gasket in talking to Chris, and I'm like, "What is going on with me?" Right? So I'm good. I'm much better now, just so you know. Like, I really am in a good space. But sometimes in this job, every superintendent would tell you, "Oh my God, I kind of cracked," So
I mean, you're not human. You are human.
I am.
Oh my gosh.
I know, but
I think that brings up a good point
But
too.
way to
is
be
just
self-reflective.
As we,
Yeah,
to
thank you.
continue being,
Maybe.
I think behavior wise, like continue being self-reflective as an individual and as a team. And then also like when things do get stressful, that, that it's okay to like have that candor to be like, "Hey, I'm really dealing with a lot of stuff right now." And before it becomes explosive, or I think that's important,
Yeah.
and just, I think that's something that hopefully can continue into this new team, and it will
Yeah.
take time, obviously, because we don't know our new team yet, but being like, "Hey, there's a lot of things going on and like I'm under pressure."
You mean
so-
for us too, right?
Yeah, and if-
That we're
yeah.
that we're vulnerable and
Yeah,
honest
that we're
about that.
vulnerable and,
Yeah,
things
it's
are
really
going
important.
on, that we let each other know, because otherwise that's where, misunderstandings and things start happening, as you're like, "Oh, that, I didn't,"
Yeah.
a week or two later, I could go to you and be like, "Yeah, I was
Yeah.
having a really bad week
Yeah.
last night. Sorry, I sent you." It's like, "Yeah, I thought
Because we
something was
only know
wrong."
half the story, what's on the agenda,
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
other half of your life.
Brene Brown has a great way. I'll just throw another Brene out there. Maybe you all know it, but we're going to use it internally. There's a line. She draws a line and she says, "Above the line, below the line." Yeah, have you seen this, heard that from her? So if you're above the line, you're in a good headspace.
Oh, yeah.
If you go below the line, you're like, okay, I'm really not in a good headspace. And then she calls it out for her team, like, hey, y'all, I'm below the
She
line
does it with her
right now.
husband.
Does he?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, you know a lot about her. Yeah.
With her husband, like she's like, I'm actually not like all in right now.
Yeah.
I'm like not like my tank's like at 20%.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to carry the other. And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm at 20%.
Yeah.
She's like, we probably should sit on the couch and watch television
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Like she does it with everything. It's
Yeah.
like pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So it is something I think we can all do.
Like I'm
I-
just not totally there. That's really good. Yeah, I agree.
I think that's cool to hear. I think I'm gonna try it internally, like, hey, y'all, we'll have fun with it because we all get along. Like, hey, Tony, you're below the line. Nah. But
But I mean, that's such a great indication that Kirsten and Ellen would both say to you, like, hey, don't send that email, or hey, don't send any more emails. Like, that's a really good indication of your leadership.
Yeah.
well,
They
they
trust you.
do.
Which is like, I mean, that's better than any 360 we will ever get.
Yes.
So it's-
Well,
that is
yeah.
amazing, and you should be super proud of that.
And-
I'm always saying to myself, could you please challenge me? And then when it happens, I'm like, thank goodness someone said something. I almost really screwed up. Or I already did, but you're just telling me, I didn't.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's amazing.
Thank you very much for that. Sometimes I'm not good at that, but yeah, and I think all of us.
Mad for a moment
Yeah,
and
I
hurt,
think-
and then you can be okay.
Yeah, maybe just not on email.
No, I meant when somebody calls you out on stuff, you know.
Oh, no, I know. Hey, so in terms of all of us together moving forward, I do predict that the obvious is going to it's going to continue to be hard in this union relationship. And
I mean, they've
Yeah.
already posted on Facebook, just so you know.
who
Yeah.
did?
They have
Posted
posted
on
on Facebook already, just so you are aware. My
Who
husband.
Naomi or just the teachers union?
I know Naomi, my husband sent me a thing from Naomi and from, it might be the teachers union as well. I haven't actually checked Facebook. He sent me a screenshot.
We already saw one, yeah, from
So like the
Naomi.
last slide and
Yeah.
That we're
they,
gas,
that they
Yeah.
took the high road and that didn't work out for them.
they took the high road.
Um,
I'm pretty sure they were in the underground the whole time, quite
just-
frankly.
I'm just
I
letting you
think-
know, and so I guess if you were going to talk about what we're moving forward, I would love to hear what you have to say.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think, so just, because this is gonna be a big deal for the board, right? We did have a meeting, Gail was there, LMC. A year ago, I said, I think we need a third-party facilitator. They declined that. We had a variable that was different in that we had Thad instead of Eric Hansen as their Uniserv rep. And he was very easy to work with. So I think he played a major role in us having an effective year. But so now we've got two of our people, not our people, but Laura and Ellen, who are gonna meet with Brian and I think DJ and try to figure this out. But I've said to our team, like, hey, I really just don't believe unless we have a third party facilitator, like how we're ever gonna. So my worry is that in order to do that, right, then
They have to agree.
they gotta agree, and then they gotta be willing to get in the room and go, yeah, we were kinda,
Right.
and I've never
I
seen
don't
that.
think they're in that place.
I don't
You're
either.
totally right. I mean, Joe was sitting there staring at us and
Smug.
smiling, like you're jerks, and now I get to prove it. And I'm like, that's not useful or helpful.
So much energy in this.
In the fight. I mean, even when Brian wrote me an email, which I sent to both of you, he writes there and there the fight for them to be recognized. It's been set up like that from the beginning. Like, how does a facilitator get us away from that?
I don't know if it's gonna
It's
be
not a
possible.
fight. We weren't, I wasn't in a fight. They were like, and I was like, no, I don't want to fight.
No,
You know?
I honestly think the most influence will, but I don't know if it's gonna happen, would be from other teachers saying,
Yeah,
Internally.
we don't
to them.
wanna do
Yeah.
this.
yeah,
Like,
we want
They're
it to
not the
be,
people though. Yeah.
So,
Showing up.
so we have so anyway, in terms of productively, this is something we're gonna have to, it's not going away, it's.
Mhm.
Do you have any insight from other superintendents who are facing the same thing? Any successes they've had? Have they had a good facilitator? Like, are there strategies that are not being used that they have?
So when I was in my yes, for sure. In the last place that I went, this Transcend Fellowship, thank you so much. I needed it. There's 13 soups around the country, all very successful people. This was the number one topic.
Oh,
what we call a problem of practice, where superintendent sat in a fishbowl and told us her problem. And it was about this, almost the same thing. And every other student was like, oh my God, I'm in this too, you know? But the strategies that I've seen work, and I mean, one is a third party facilitator. Two is to try to stay focused on what's going well. You know, get people to the board like we did tonight. I mean, what joy we started the evening with.
That's really cool.
All those folks love us. All those folks love what we're doing, right? They really do. Ellen Reed has told me, I love these pathways. I'm inviting you all over to the next board meeting. We're gonna help you even more, right? So I think not to avoid the tough conversation, but to definitely say, okay, wait a minute, hold on. Like, we're doing great stuff. Let's keep doing the great stuff. And then another idea that's
I mean,
come up.
Johanna's refocusing on students, which is what you're saying.
Yeah,
I think it's actually part of the way forward.
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I agree with you. Now, I have one person recommended maybe Joe and I need a mediator, and I said, that's fine, I'll do it. I'd be happy to do that.
But he has agreed, and he has to be.
I haven't talked to him yet.
Oh, I
but
know,
he
I know.
won't. I don't think he'll.
No,
I just don't see it with his personality.
No.
I don't like the idea of the two of you being in a room with a third party by yourselves, in the sense that I don't know that, first of all, you'll ever find a mediator that's gonna appease all of this. And just the two of you, I think it's got to be multiple people, and it has to be a support staff. It has to be, the LMC. It has to be sort of yours, and then find a facilitator that can kind of work with everybody agreeing. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be an argument on who the person is right out the door. But I would never advise you. I mean, you could talk to Kathy and the rest of the board, because I'm coming off, but I would never put the two of you in the room, just the two of you. I don't think
it's
you're gonna
gonna
accomplish
change.
anything.
Okay,
Got two-
interesting.
He's got too much.
I
Well,
don't necessarily want to do that, but.
He's
you
too
know,
dug in, and he needs other people to like bring,
Him out of that.
yeah.
And I think that other people will have perspective of, like, if you bring it back to children or the wins or the this or that, he may not see it. Just like at times you may not see, but I think other people in there may go, oh, that's a
Mm,
valid
a really
point,
good
or I
point.
understand. But I think just the two of you, that you're not going to move the work forward.
I think, you know what, I'm gonna hit pause on that. I haven't even addressed that idea. It just
Yeah.
came to me. I'm just gonna hit pause, hold that in a hip pocket if we ever need it. I appreciate that point. I think for you all, so it took a little while in terms of another strategy moving forward. You all joining us in the walkthroughs if you can, so I finally got the answer. Okay, sure, we'll support that.
oh, okay, that was on the agenda the other night, but we didn't get to
We
it.
didn't get to it.
We wouldn't be allowed to do it on.
Well,
Teachers
they
were
just would support it.
talking to, right, to determine if they would feel comfortable
Oh.
having a board member while they're getting evaluated.
we try to do the really respectful respectful thing and say, I told the team, say, hey, let's just go to, LMC and say, hey, we're thinking about board members coming
Okay.
along. It's
Sure.
not evaluative. They sort of let us talk about it. And so I emailed them today. I said, hey, we never got to that. And so they said, fine.
It's so fascinating. They want us to come to LMC into negotiations, but they don't want us to come into the
Right.
classrooms to see the amazing work happening. Like,
Right.
how effed up is that? That's so, that's exactly what Johanna is talking about.
You can't manipulate the room and play the victim in the classroom. You can do that in noisy.
So I
Cool.
think, yeah, and I think part of this, you all are slammed busy, but I think joining the walkthroughs and telling teachers how awesome they're doing, because they really are, and noting all their changes and not being evaluative, but just being present and collaborative. And along with us, that has a lot of potential, I think. I think you all finding your ways to thank the bus drivers and talk to the coach, and I do that when I go through schools. I know you do it too, just to keep showing the human side of it, because they're trying to paint a picture of
We are
We don't
isolating
care.
ourselves, yeah.
you're isolated, don't care. That's not true. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's great, and I think that's true. I guess kind of my next thought would be, So when we have our new board members come on, we know it's difficult. We know what we're dealing with right now. And how do we bring them along to that understanding, to not get bought into the SCA, because it sounds like they're already kind of being brought in, as the villain. And so, I'm curious how to navigate that, whether it's just through onboarding, whether it's through CASB, whether it's just being like,
Let me go to an
hey,
LMC,
here,
pay attention.
Yeah.
I'm totally serious.
actually-
You're paying attention at all.
Well,
I thought
and
that Angus-
yeah, no, that is a good point. I mean, when I attended last spring, it was like, ooh, ouch, this doesn't feel very comfortable, but it seemed like there was hope.
then last
And I
week-
mean, I didn't really want to go back again right away, but
That good.
it wasn't that comfortable. But the other night when it's like, it was
It was
just,
awful.
it was off the board. It was just off the
And I
chart.
would recommend for some of the new people, I mean, I know I remember Gail and Vanessa, you guys were talking a lot when you were new, how great it was to actually do the walkthroughs of the school, because you maybe had never even been in the building. And I think even Julie said it, like we've said it all, like at the very beginning, when you get to do those walkthroughs, you actually see the spirit of what is happening in schools. And particularly if you have people who maybe are not familiar or only see maybe the negatives, doing a walkthrough of a school and you see teachers in action, you see actual children, the whole reason we're here, you see them engaged, playing, asking questions. I know it sounds like maybe putting on the dog and pony show, but you're really not. It's just an introductory to what is happening on the ground. And
Lovely stuff.
maybe it's not the with the newer board members, it might be an easier walkthrough. With the more veteran board members, you're actually looking at like what kind of learning is happening in those classrooms, and it's more with Laura Kotsapas and Dr. Bird. But I just feel like the sooner you can get people in front of children, the whole reason we're here and what we're doing, you remember why, and it feels good. Like there's never a day where you're like, well, that classroom really sucked, and I hope those kids are having a shitty year. Like, you don't say that.
What a
No
little
one.
brat.
That
Right?
little
Like,
turd.
just like you can have different types of parenting style, but every parent wakes up and go, I want something better for my kids. And so putting people in front of the kids is going to start that conversation over. And I just think the sooner you can do it, the better. I mean, they're already talking about, oh, what's policy governance, and like it's too political, it's too all this stuff. You take that out of the picture and you literally see kids in action. And that's it from the
And
get.
that's really on the agenda planning that we're gonna be seeing more.
Oh, yeah,
students,
yep, they'll
right?
see that as soon as they get in, because we'll
Mhm.
have all of the schools be coming in, so that'll be really good timing.
For
And they'll
sure.
see students at Casby.
For sure.
Yeah,
was the
and I
student
think
council,
CASB is a
yeah.
big, also, a much greater opportunity for us to have conversations.
Yeah, I agree. I had two very good meetings with Ken and Whitney. And they both expressed this concern of, they were honest, like, oh, wait a minute, I just got nominated and now I'm in this role that, there's gonna be this political pressure, but they both were rising above that.
Mhm.
And I just said, you should be grateful for the support, and in this role as a board, you have a much higher set of things to think about, and you're
Mhm.
now looking at the whole place.
Right.
And I thought they were both very responsive. Now Jennifer still hasn't answered any request to meet.
She's actually coming to the onboarding.
Oh, okay.
Vanessa has Tuesday. I have
Oh, yeah, so yes, I verified you'll be on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
The whole time on
Until-
Tuesday, or?
Until
Oh,
you need to
there's-
leave, yeah.
Well, as long as you need me to, okay.
I worry about that. Jennifer in particular, didn't she not, I'm curious to see how this H policy thing unfolds, meaning she didn't even meet with the SCEA, right? During
I don't know.
pre-adjustment.
Oh, no.
No, they said
So-
she kept like giving them, like, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time.
Oh,
She
yeah.
blew them off.
So what an interesting predicament we have, where they're now sort of throwing the pro-union board members under the bus
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
With, a whole different mindset towards their goals, coming into the room there. How does that play?
I've never thought Joe and strategy in the same sentence.
Yeah.
Well, it's new.
Fair enough.
well, someone in the room yesterday was talking to me about this, said, I can't believe we, the teachers, are obsessed with the H policy instead of making sure we get 3 board members, right? And
Yeah.
so it's just interesting. Yeah,
I mean,
anyway.
you said before that you would, maybe he should support different kinds of board members. That would be
Yeah,
nice.
I remember he said that.
Yes,
Said to me too.
I told him, I said, go for it, Joe.
I was like, good luck.
I think,
But his position, this is why he's so dug in, is he said, the only way this ever works is if we're 3 equal governing bodies. The board,
What is that?
the board, central, Tony, and the SCEA.
He's lost his mind.
3, yeah.
He's lost.
That's what that's
There's
his,
no discussion
that's his
of
basic.
students in there at all.
Yeah.
Students are completely forgotten.
that's the fact.
I also think then you need to bring it back to the finance committee in a way that they need to make some form of statement that it is the board's responsibility to look at the overall health of the organization financially, which includes all the pieces of the puzzle, which is payroll, benefits, all of those pieces, but curriculum, keeping the lights on, like raising for grants, looking at like all of that it's not just benefits for one entity. They are a part of it, but there are multiple other people, and that needs to, I think, has to come from another outside party of our finance committee who's making recommendations on pieces. They need to clearly say a recommendation of the board needs to look at all aspects of the budget and name all the pieces so that it goes back to there is not one entity, and all that power should not sit with one piece of that puzzle. It has to sit at the board level. It's one of the only few jobs that we have, and I'm not trying to say I'm holding power, but ultimately it's the board's job to look at the budget of the overall health and wellness of an organization. And that is a board for any sort of board there is out there. And if you can't do that, then you should not be a board member. Not to be harsh, but I think it's got to come from like our finance committee's recommendations.
But just realize Joe's part of the finance committee. So
Yeah, good
he
point.
gets this all the time from different directions. And even with that,
Cause Stan tells him sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who told him? Stan.
Dan, Niels,
Yields.
Yeah. yeah.
Hey, even go ahead, sorry, you were gonna say.
No, I was pretty much done, but I'm just saying, I don't know if he'll listen even.
I don't think it's a listen for him. I think it's a listen for the public and the other entities who have an open ear and willing to listen.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Sometimes, like when we're in the during the board meetings, right? We like sometimes ask questions to prompt to get answers so that the public hears the conversation, right? I think that's the same thing this is it's bringing back to it's us creating the narrative. And the narrative is there are more pieces to this than just one entity, and never should it reside with a staff member besides Tony implementing the budget that we agree to.
Yeah.
Is there any plan for, great point, Johanna. Is there any plan to do a media release about the board approving the pathway to unionization? What an incredible win that is. Don't put that in there, but just say they're
Yeah.
supportive
That's
of
good thinking.
them unionizing. Like I keep thinking about what you're all telling me right now, which is don't be such a deficit thinker, Vanessa.
Yeah,
Like let's put some joy back into this. Like
Yeah,
it's
we should-
amazing.
We should have Kristen ready to post the,
Yeah.
congratulations, they just approved the.
yeah.
the
I,
union," rather than
Here's
we're
the list of
gaslighting
everything of the
people.
demands, and look how we met every single one of them and then some.
Yeah.
But we listen to the staff, we make
Yeah,
compromises
that's
that
really smart.
were responsive to the staff, but also responsive to the community, responsible to the community
get
and to
it.
our students. And we want people to have, they want to unionize and we want to create a clear path, and we did it. So let's do
We're
it.
getting on that right now.
Love it, love
I love that. Hey, real quick, I wanna rattle off some things that should make you feel good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
Is
do
that
it.
cool?
Let's do it.
yeah.
Cause I know we gotta go back, but I was doing some reflecting and just check out the things that have happened under your leadership. So we moved past a bond failure into a very productive, like, we see where we might have missed it, now we're moving forward and we got energy and people are, right?
Yep.
This is just a few things. Grad profile is in almost every classroom. I can't wait for you to see that. Pathways are taking off like no tomorrow. Work-based learning taking off. this is all your stuff that you got in when you did the strategic plan and forward. Rigor, academic rigor is a real thing. Housing with Breckenridge, the support staff unionizing. I actually wrote myself that note earlier today. Thanks
positive.
for bringing it up. Is student performance has improved over the last.
My kid's PSAT went up 200 points.
Okay, if we're gonna brag, then I
Stop.
started on this board, and my son was at a 3rd percentile for reading, and he is now at the 47th percentile. So, and that is the teachers, 100%.
Well, that's so awesome.
That's
Couple other
awesome.
quick things, chronic absenteeism is down 16%.
Yes.
Right? And like you stuck to your values, right? That's the first thing George Wells teaches in his superintendent academy. Know your values, stick to them. You'll be fine.
Don't run for reelection
Don't run for real.
while you're governing.
I also
Yeah.
want to compliment you and say you're I wrote this down. You modeled the graduate profile. You're a highly engaged, caring, critical thought partners to me and to the organization and to the community. You've stood strong in the face of challenges. Policy governance, needs to be modified a bit, but you've also created a much better structure, to be honest. And we got to wrap because there's no budget for light. And then
So we're saving money.
yeah, so I don't know, like I think there's so much you go on and on and on. I don't know. I wanted to offer that too.
I think that's awesome. I think that's, I would say kind of a closing thought. And as we look at moving forward, things are gonna be tough. And as long as we can continue to model that, the good things that we've done, and then create spaces for our new team members to feel okay about it. And if you two would be okay, and I would say Johanna, you as well, like if our new board members want to reach out to you, I think that would be awesome.
I will tell you, Kim and Whitney both have reached out. I actually sent a message to Jennifer myself because the other two did. I have not heard a response, but I'm open to any board members that would like to talk. Because I was telling them my schedule was a little different at this moment, but
This is to her work email more
Oh,
than she does her.
That's good to know.
okay,
Hotmail.
no, that's fair.
Okay, cool. So I think
What?
that, I think communication,
That's good.
and then just leading by our values. I think that the more that we can try, it's all relationships based,
It is.
it's one of our like GP1.
Yeah.
Relationships are like of the utmost importance. And if we just keep on looking back to those initial, I know it's a GP, but the GP1, those values that we say are student-centered, relationships matter, lead by values, and everything that amazing public education can do for students. I think that's awesome. And I appreciate, this conversation. It's like,
Yeah.
we're like collective stewardship of the organization, have to do it as a team. We've done a great job. And I do feel confident that and there'll be some bumps, but we'll get through them.
We will.
Can I suggest a process change? In the future, you may want to consider, and I already passed this by the lawyers, and they said it was okay. Because it's not fair to ask a 1-month-old
Board member.
to rate
Oh,
or it's not really fair for Tony to get
Yeah.
feedback from a person who is only worked with.
I gave 0 feedback, I think, when that happened.
Right,
Yeah.
but like, I think you could time it with the board self-assessment and make that like the.
Like this could be our
Summative is the
summative
go,
right now.
the go, no go. Cause then you're ready, and you get ready for, if it's a no-go, I'm not saying it's a no-go. If it's a no-go,
if it's a no-go.
then
Iron
you're
glass
prepping
once.
to get into that sweet spot for superintendent.
Don't even think
search,
about it.
Right?
Simmer
Yeah,
down.
think about it.
So-
And then-
Get the man a Red Bull.
The,
But only
was
once.
formative
Yeah, just-
to end of May, like that tends to be, when
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
smart.
So we ran it by the lawyer, and so this year, and you all will see it soon, but I sent it to Tony just for green lines,
Yeah,
was to basically how you, and this is just, it has to do with the process too, but instead of lumping everything in November, December, tried to really draw it out between like first couple weeks of December, you know, so that we have ample time to get things back and to give feedback.
Good.
This year during election years, only exiting board members. So after this, and so Tony's gonna give his self-evaluation on the rubric by Thanksgiving.
Yep.
I'll send that to the exiting team members to do their rubric once they have Tony's info. So you guys won't get like the stakeholder feedback, but you will get his. You guys will fill that out as exiting team members, and then once we get Tony's stuff and our stakeholder feedback, then as continuing board members, will give that feedback. So that way
Good
you all
change.
get a voice.
Yeah,
And
That's
then,
good.
and then it'll kind of be the transition year. And then when we look at BSR 5, or when we look at it afterwards and we do our debrief and like, we really need to change the timing up for this, we can do all of that. So just so you all know what's coming up, you'll get the email with the rubric after Thanksgiving, and you'll have until say like December 1st, so that you're not running up against that last line of stepping off to give your feedback, and we'll use that as part of our whole.
don't give it to Chris, I'm a little.
I've been holding this.
Yeah, thank you for this. I think we have some good notes to know what we need to do going forward, and yeah.
Awesome.
Do we need to say anything?
Yeah, so let me see, okay, so I don't think we need to say anything
Well, we get
particularly,
back
okay,
out.
so yeah, we had our executive session. So what we're gonna be doing is, I mean, I think we can do any discussion, or we can just, you know, kind of summarize. We talked about transition here and there, some thoughts and considerations. And if we want to share any of them individually, like if we think there are things that would be valuable going out to say, I think that's fine, because lots of it's reflective of what we have said in the past and in public. But what we'll do now is we'll log out of this executive session. We'll go back into the public meeting, and then we'll have anything that anybody would like to say, and then we'll do our end of meeting debrief, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay.
So, thank you, everybody. So Johanna, we'll see you on the other side, momentarily.
I'm having trouble with my computer, so if I don't get logged in,
Oh,
I am.
I can help you with tech.
I don't think that's gonna help.